This is what we have been waiting for, as the plan for Jacob Misiorowski has been revealed, and what is going forward with the postseason, and what reports are saying that Pat Murphy needs to do for this team to have success in the postseason are all going crazy right now. We're going to be breaking down these reports, going over what the role for Jacob Misiorowski is going to be, as well as now, moments ago, our opponent has been revealed for Saturday. We're going to be breaking it down and going over all the news that we have here in today's video. Before we do jump into it, though, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to say a big thank you for all the support here on the channel while we're here in the bye week, getting to 1,000 subscribers, getting all of you guys watching this Brewers channel, the Brewers News. I want to keep you up to date with it. We are days away from Brewers baseball once again, and this time it is going to be crazy. You won't want to miss it. We're going to have it all here, daily videos on the channel. You will not want to miss it. But let's get straight into this, because going into today, there were plenty of reports coming down about what the plan is going to be, and we now know the role for Jacob Misiorowski. And this is from Adam McKelvey of MLB.com. Misiorowski is expected to be used in a relief role by the Brewers in the NLDS. Now, this is a little bit of something that we've expected. We didn't really think that Jacob Misiorowski would be here in the rotation for the NLDS at least, but we knew he would be in some sort of role with this team, especially when he said, wherever they put me, I'll be happy, I'll be ready to go. Questions were being asked if he could actually be trusted as a starter in the postseason, but whether or not that is going to be the plan, whether or not things do change, there's still lots of time for that. And we have to remember that Saturday morning is the time that this team can finalize their roster. So there is still lots of time to evaluate whether they want to or not use Jacob Misiorowski in the starting role. But this has been a big point of concern, and not concern necessarily, but a big question being asked of whether or not this team will be able to go without Jacob Misiorowski in the bullpen, or will they be able to use him in a longer role here in this rotation or bullpen? And going into what we've seen as of late, and this is the kind of the bullpen right now where it currently stands. And from what we've seen with this season and this team, we've been able to see quite a few players be in this team at once on the mound. We've seen about an inning per pitcher for the last little while from this team, and it has very much worked. We've seen people put in some great work. There are a few games where we do see some relievers go a little bit more than inning 2 and 2/3 or whatnot, 2 to 3 innings, but for the most part, it's been really seeing quite a few of these relief pitchers here in every game for 1 inning. And speaking of that as well, kind of on the same topic as Jacob Misiorowski being in the bullpen, there was a plan released by an MLB reporter going on about what the plan is going to be and what they need to do to get the success they've had in the regular season here into the postseason. So Tyler Korth says, likewise, Murphy should continue to rely on a staff approach to navigate the pitching side of the postseason. Short but effective outings from a starter should remain part of the strategy, as limiting starters to 2 times through the order has proven successful in the past, most notably in 2018 when no Brewers starting pitcher beyond 5.2 innings in a playoff game. But as you see there, I'm not going to read the rest of it, but with how deep this team is now, how good the rotation and the bullpen have been, they have the assets, the facilities, the ability to make this happen. And now adding Jacob Misiorowski in here as well, it will be completely fine. We have the starters as well that can go a long time if needed, but when you get to around that 3rd time around the rotation, that's when you're starting to see some of these pitchers get a little bit kind of red from the hitter, the batter, whoever's up, the coach, the hitting coach of the other team. You got to remember, all eyes are going to be on whoever is on the mound, so there will be eventually a time during a game where you're going to start to see hitters get more used to them, but that's not been an issue with the Brewers this year, as they've had such a good rotation, but also bullpen. And going into it as well with the starters we've had, Freddy Peralta, Quinn Priester, and whoever the starters after that will be, whether it is Chad Patrick, Robert Gasser, Logan Henderson potentially coming back. There's lots of options here and a few other players that can have the opportunity to come into this lineup. There's going to be a valuable starter in every game, no matter what the case is. And if you take Misiorowski and put him out here, put him into this bullpen, you're getting a very, very deep bullpen, considering to where we've been previously on this team. And there are some questions that I've seen when Jacob Misiorowski going to the bullpen is saying, hey, where are the starters going to? How are the starters going to fare out with this? We have no worries about that, because taking a look at who started a game for the Brewers this year, we have an incredible amount of names that have at least started a game for this team, and, quite a few above 10. So, Brandon Woodruff, Misiorowski, Quintana, Quinn Priester, Chad Patrick, Freddy Peralta. Although Woodruff and Quintana are on the IR, you're given a reasonable amount of starters there that you want. Logan Henderson as well, pitched 5 games, 5 started, 3 from DL Hall. He has these, or I shouldn't say these guys have the ability to go out here, start a game, pitch 2 innings, and then have a bullpen game. There's a lot of options right now that this team can go about with this pitching side of things here, and I'm curious to see what Pat Murphy decides to do, and if the plan will stay the same from what we saw there of just kind of twice through the order, then it's an inning, an inning, an inning, an inning from the bullpen. And but now what we have, we're seeing a lot of pitchers come in, be able to go day after day after day when, you're not in the regular season, you're usually not doing that. We just saw from the Cubs today, Andrew Kittredge come into this game, close it out, pitching and starting in game 2, I should say, coming in to close out this game. Pitchers have to be ready to do whatever, and even if we're seeing maybe a Freddy Peralta start in game 1, we may see him in the bullpen at some point. We may see Quinn Priester in the bullpen at some point. It's been a very good and kind of successful point for every team here on the pitching side of things. So if we can see this from the Brewers as well, things are certainly looking up here right now. One thing I wanted to point out as well, kind of before we do continue on with this, is when we did have the kind of the team here up to, over this week here at American Family Field, seeing everything going on, getting the reps in, they had a simulated game, and the scrimmage was going over. The bullpen coach was the umpire. The ABS was on, what we're seeing next year, and the scoreboard was on. He was hearing it on the missed call. So good to see this team was having fun. Good to see this team was keeping it light, not stressing too much about it. They're keeping it serious. They're still going in simulated games like this. They're staying in game-ready form. So this is a very good sign for this team here. And, I mean, going with the pitching as well, we saw a little bit of it this week. Nothing too deep right now. Nothing being revealed by Pat Murphy. But we've getting a very good idea of what the plan is going to be with Freddy Peralta, Quinn Priester, the bullpen, and everything really leading up to where we currently stand here now on Thursday, heading into Friday with the game on Saturday. Now, one more thing regarding this Jacob Misiorowski side of things is that there's been, as I mentioned, a bit of concern about Jacob Misiorowski, mainly over his last few games. And when we take a look at what he's done, he's not been necessarily the greatest over his last few games, but over the month of September and the final game that he had played where he did come out of the bullpen, we saw 2 1/3 inning from him, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. So we're getting a bit of a kind of a look there, an early look. Of course, the walks are not necessarily ideal there, and getting out of it definitely was good, but as you see over his most recent appearances, limited 3.2 innings, 5 innings, 7 innings with 8 Ks. We remember that game. That was a very good game against Pittsburgh. And the game before that, going same thing, 4 1/3, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. So we're kind of getting an idea right here, once again, that Jacob Misiorowski, once or twice around the order, then coming out would be good as a starter. Now having him in the bullpen doing that exact same thing seems like a very good plan going forward. So I want to know what you guys think about this pitching kind of style and scheme of, do you think the Brewers are going to keep what works? Definitely should be the right option. Should be what they do. And let me know what you think about Jacob Misiorowski coming out of the rotation and going into the bullpen, as really all signs are pointing towards that right now. But before we do finish the video off, I want to go over what we saw a few moments ago from the Cubs and Padres. The Cubs are who we're playing in the NLDS. Craig Counsell, in his first postseason game at Chicago, comes back to face his old team. Game 1 is Saturday, and we don't yet know the time. I mentioned that in last video. Depending on this game tonight versus the Red Sox and Yankees, the winner of that will determine whether the Brewers play during the night or the afternoon. So keep an eye on that going forward with that. And, of course, there's going to be a lot of interesting things. Now, this was a very interesting game from the Cubs side of things. They really did dominate, I'll say, the Padres here. And, the Padres nearly came back. Awful call. Let's not be honest here. I am not rooting for either team, but it was an awful call there to strike out. I can't remember who it was going into that, first out in that 9th inning for the Padres. But they nearly came back. But as you see, the Cubs, 13 hits, 3 runs. They were going today. They were ready. And we're going to have to see how things do play out here coming into the next series. But we got to go look at the Cubs. Hopefully they're tired. Hopefully we see Andrew Kittredge tired after pitching a few days. Hopefully this Cubs team is tired. Of course, we can't rely on that. This team has to be ready to go, and I fully do believe they are. So, Game 1 Saturday, I'm going to have another video tomorrow going over every update we get. I'm sure we're going to get a couple more when we're getting towards the idea of everything and kind of the plan. Pat Murphy's supposed to speak out, I believe. So, I'll have all of that here in tomorrow's video, but that's all I got here on this one. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out, though. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.